What's up, Painless Flipping podcast listeners? Before we dive into today's episode, I've got something special for you. Recently, I had the pleasure of joining an amazing podcast, and I wanted to share that conversation with you all. It's a fantastic discussion you won't want to miss. So without further ado, let's jump into that crossover episode and hear what we had to say. Enjoy.
So yeah, man, let's jump in. Guest today is Nathan Payne. Nathan, you and I run in some of the same circles. We've got some of the same friends. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself, where you're at, your market, what you do, and
So originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up there. Not really much happened. I mean, I moved out of there after I graduated from high school and went on a 2-year mission for my church, where, if you're familiar with the LDS faith, the Mormons, I'm Mormon. So I went and talked to people about Jesus for 2 years, got denied for 2 years. That's where I kind of learned got my muscle of, knocking on doors and, just going after things and taking action. After that, I went to college. Went into door-to-door sales, because that's pretty big in the LDS community, like knocking on people's doors and trying to, eventually try to sell them things if that's where you go. So I did that for 6 years, graduated from college, built up teams. And then I was tired of moving around so much with that, because you have to move around all the time. And then I went right into wholesaling. My buddy that I went to college with, I tried to convince him to do door-to-door the whole time. He tried to convince me to do wholesaling. His dad was doing wholesaling. Eventually, after graduating, getting married, I called him and said, hey, let's do this wholesaling thing. Let's try it here in Utah. So yeah, ever since, 4 years down, up and down, trying to figure this thing out. And we're no longer partners, which is, something we learned from Tom Kroll. That we know. He said, hey, you don't need a business partner. So as soon as he told me that, I said, hey man, no offense, but we don't need each other anymore. So broke that up, and we're still friends, no hard feelings. And now I'm running a lean wholesaling machine, and fix and flip everything. Like, I don't do just wholesaling. I do whatever makes sense, and I coach. So that's where I'm at. That's a quick review of me.
That's good. What market specifically do you invest?
So specifically right now in Salt Lake City, Utah, but because over the last 4 years, we've learned how to do nationwide wholesaling. We do deals wherever deal comes in from other students and other people. I'm doing a deal in Columbia, South Carolina right now. I mean, wherever they come, if it's a deal, I can dispo it, but I primarily focus in Utah just so I don't have to be all over the country.
Nice. Where'd you do your mission? South America somewhere?
No, I wish. When I got my mission call to go somewhere, I was hoping for Chile, because I'm half Chilean, half white. So I was like, oh, I'd love to go to the motherland, meet those people. But I got my call. I was currently, at the time I got they call it a mission call. At the time that I got it, I was living in Idaho I was going to college at Brigham Young University, Idaho. And I got my mission call to Oregon, which was the state right next to it. And I was like, oh, are you serious? I'm literally just going the state over. This stinks. So I was kind of disappointed, because, when you're young, you want to go somewhere exotic or cool, like Japan or Germany or something. But no, I went to Oregon, had a great time. It's where I was meant to be at. I loved it. But Portland, Oregon.
Nice. So, yeah, man, pretty exciting. So how long you been in the game? I mean, how long you been in real estate? What's your time frame?
About 4 years. 4 years now.
So it's interesting. 4 years in real estate in this market right now is kind of a veteran. I jumped in 2017, and I feel like I got battle scars. More's coming, but there's
yes. I mean, I have some flips that aren't selling. We're having to scramble. We're trying to refinance, trying to figure out what to do. I meant, I got in when wholesaling wasn't that easy, and then over the last 2 years, it's been easy. But now it's not easy again, and that's fine. That's going to get rid of a lot of the people that came in that don't know what they're doing.
That's totally true. It's gonna weed out, and we're seeing that too. And people that are coming to us and looking for coaching and mentoring. I've got to tell them, you got to go with your eyes wide open. But there's opportunity here, but it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for those that don't have strong will and are determined.
Agreed.
100%. So
yeah, a lot of people get in this business thinking it's passive. Wholesaling is not a passive business. No. It's very active.
Wholesaling is a marketing business. Rehabbing is a construction business.
Mm-hmm.
Owning rentals long term is passive. Well, nothing's completely passive, but Yeah. Do you have any short-term rentals? You in that market?
Yeah. So over the last 4 years, I haven't really kept anything. I have two rentals right now, and I'm looking to buy an Aplex, but I haven't really kept anything because in order to keep a wholesaling business going, you pretty much have to sell everything, wholesale it to keep the business alive, right?
Yep. Yeah, honestly, that's one of the pitfalls I've had is I have at my age, a little bit different. I don't know how old you are. I'm 48, but
Mhm.
at my age, I had to be a little more aggressive about what I was going to keep. Uh,
Right.
I've been in business all my life in different businesses, and I don't have this killer, fund, IRA or anything that's, I've depleted it over different businesses, but
Right.
at my age, I had to be more aggressive. And you're right, it starves cash for your other businesses. So our wholesaling and our flipping operation uh, are lean by design, but
Yes.
they are feeding the rentals, and that's
That's how
again,
you got to set it up.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't really tell anyone that they should just build a straight wholesaling business. I think that's a flawed model in my opinion. If that's all you do, you got to keep, you got to fix and flip. You got to maximize on what you get.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that a little bit. So exit strategy is something I teach a lot.
Hmm.
You get whether you are doing insane outbound marketing or you've just got organic leads coming to you, or however a lead comes to you, you've got to be able to understand exit strategy. And so, the one
Exactly.
trick pony. Sometimes the wholesalers are a one trick pony, and they don't know how. So oftentimes they don't know how to take down a deal in more ways than one. And then the flip side of that too is they don't know how to dispo it and or either hold it or refinance it or burr it or long-term,
Right.
short-term rental, lease option, rent to own, contract for deeds. I mean, all these different dispo. I don't know if maybe you can speak to some of that is either on the acquisition side or the disposition side. I mean, what are you seeing in your business?
I agree with you 1,000%. Like, if you're just looking at deals as, let me make a 70% minus ARV or whatever that your formula is. If that's all you do, you're going to miss out on tons of opportunities. I mean, you can do creative deals. You can list deals with people like do novations. There's just so many different ways to help a seller. Really what you're looking for is the motivation, because if there's no motivation, they don't need you. They can just list it and wait. So if there's motivation, you can find a way.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. um, are you are you going after? Tell me some about your acquisition strategies. I mean, I don't know your. First of all, tell us about your team and your business.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah, so because of the market shift, I mean, I had a big company that was with my business partner. We had multiple acquisition reps, leads managers, disposition rep, VA, a lot of VAs. And I met Tom and I was basically saying, hey, he runs the wholesaling business. I kind of do the coaching, like we kind of did it together. And Tom's like, you don't really need to give 50% of your coaching. And then he gives you 50% of the business. Like that doesn't even make sense. And I was like, that's true. So we broke it up and I've made my team real lean. It's just me and three VAs that run my coaching, social media, funnels, everything. And they look at deals that come across our emails from wholesalers. They make offers on market. And we also, because of the platform I have at investorthrive.com, we get a lot of JV deals. So I don't spend any money on marketing right now. And I just have my VAs analyze deals. And if they make sense, then we either take them down any way we can, right? Through a
Mhm.
JV agreement. And I just closed on a deal yesterday that cost me $0 and a couple phone calls. And it was like a 21,200 wholesale fee that I split with someone that I talked to on Facebook. So I'd rather do that. It's a lifestyle choice instead of so much you know, I'm not going to get extremely wealthy off of, doing a couple deals like that, but I'd rather do that than run I had the whole team thing. It's cool, but it's a lot of work and it's just
It
not
is.
what I'm interested in. So that's to answer your question. That's what my team looks like. 3 VAs that run my other businesses, and we also do deals.
That's awesome. Yeah, a friend of mine, Stinson, he says Keep it small, keep it all. Which I
And that's
love.
what I've been doing. It's really nice because, when I was doing the wholesaling, big wholesaling company, we'd make $145,000 a month or on big deals. And I wasn't excited at all because I knew that had to go right back into marketing. I knew that had to go to everyone in the company, and I had to split it 50% with my partner. So at the end of things, like it really wasn't that much money for that much work.
So it'd be fair to say that your JVing deals is kind of a big part of your model right now.
Yeah, because I know how to do it. I'm very good at finding dispelling deals, and not only that, people are struggling to find buyers right now, and I know how to do it. So I'd rather leverage people who want to go reach out to the sellers. I'm very good at talking to sellers. Like I have very good like sales process, but you know how that is. You got to call them, you got to follow up, and not that there's anything wrong with that. There's big spreads. I mean, if I do a JV deal, what we're going to split 20, 30K, and that's not that much, but well, it is, right? But you know how it is, like with in the long run. But if I do my own deal, then it's like 60K, 50K, I keep it all. So there's pros and cons, right?
Yeah, I've had it's interesting conversation, and Nathan Payne's my guest. I appreciate you being here, investor out of Utah. So it's interesting conversation talking about um, your marketing. Like, so the typical wholesaler is doing multiple marketing channels, has an insane marketing budget, is told to split test everything, and boom, 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 boom. But I've been fascinated with the model, and I doubled down on this about 2 years ago of just being an fractional model. I want deals. I gave a presentation about being a magnet in my market. So I want to be a
Yes.
magnet in my market where people know that they can come to me to either work a deal. I mean, I'm always willing to help. I'll give anybody 10 minutes of my time anytime, any day. But work a deal, fund it, hand it over to my project managers to flip it and split. But there's so many ways to JV a deal, and just having that attractional model to where you don't have to spend insane amount of marketing dollars. I mean, the biggest wholesalers typically do, but I look at guys in my market, some of the old dogs, they've been investing for decades. They're not doing any of the stuff that that we're learning to what list to buy and whatever. They've been in the game, and deals come to them. I mean, there's a meetup in my city, and it is it is the seediest looking warehouse setting. Warehouse, they've got a business there, and it's Friday morning, and you go in and the coffee sucks, and there's like the average age there is like 83.
Yeah.
But that's like some of the best value right there, and sitting in that room.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
So
agree with you.
yeah, yeah, tell me a little bit more about you say you've got some VAs, so you're just looking at underwriting. I mean, you
Pretty much.
and so your VAs are part of your underwriting process.
Yeah, what I believe is the way to really scale this business, so you're not spending massive amounts of marketing, is just to be that go-to magnet. That's what I believe. So I've actually partnered up with a couple people in the family mastermind. I don't know if you've heard of the family, but that's how I met Tom. But there's what's happening is the value that you can provide to people if you know how to help them make money off of a motivated seller or more money is huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have that skill set. So if someone brings me a problem they don't know how to solve, I can help them. Right. And that's kind of what there's another, a partnership I'm working with the Deal War Room, someone named Lori Graymont. And, basically she's trying to create a place where people that need funding can go, and they'll look at your deals, they'll fund them, or they'll help you move them. So she has the same idea. So I told her, hey, like I'm building a community, I'm doing the same thing. So let's like partner. I'll run the community, and, I can help people answer questions, and deals will come in. So I believe there's like a central location where people can go, and there'll never be like a central, right? There's so many different ways to talk to people, but if there's a place where people can bring deals to get analyzed and advice, and then it's like, hey, for doing this, we can partner, we can fund your deal, we can help you find a buyer. I think that's really scalable, and that's what I'm trying to do.
100%. Nathan, you said something that just sparked a thought. Dispo. So traditional thought on dispo, I mean, it depends on the wholesaler, but traditionally, especially for the last few years, uh, a new wholesaler or maybe even a seasoned wholesaler is going to get something under contract, and they're just going to hit it on Facebook. They maybe have a
Damn.
buyer's list. They're going to throw it out to mail on, MailChimp or Constant Contact. It's got to, they're going to go buy a list,
They're gonna blast it out, right?
blast it out. So my experience, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So like on Dispo, uh, if it's on Facebook, that's the last resort. I mean, we're looking at Dispo just as strategically as we look at acquisition. Sometimes disposition is like the forgotten thing. Like we get it under contract, and now my job is just put it on Facebook and take the highest offer. But
Yeah.
we're looking at disposition as I'm more of a concierge approach. Like we're networking. So I run an investor club. I run an investor meetup. We're super active in our market. And
Awesome.
like we know the people that have the 1031 money. We know the people that love the
Love it.
boutique neighborhoods. We know so that I don't know, maybe you can speak to that, but that's something that's really worked for us is maximizing our assignment fees on our disposition rather than taking a quick, sometimes 5 to 10K lick on something. We can actually and we're doing a better service by not just taking the low-hanging fruit, but we're like finding the people that are really want to pay and see the value in these neighborhoods and these properties and are willing to pay more. How's your like what did your dispo process look like? And I mean, what would you say to like a new wholesaler that's trying to approach that?
Wow. Yeah. You spoke to exactly what I teach in my program. So my name is Nathan Payne, right? So I call my program Painless Wholesaling, right? Because I basically teach people to do exactly what you're talking about. Over the last 2 years, my dispo process has been buy the biggest list nationwide, blast out every deal, and it's a tedious, arduous process, right? You basically got to like call people, you got to send out. I mean, it was a lot of work, and that was because it was nationwide. We didn't have the relationships. But what I teach people now is like, look, that's not working as well as it used to because there's a lot of buyers that aren't buying that are on those lists. That's a waste of your time. Get tight with 10 to 15 buyers, or in your case, throw a meetup and know all the people that are buying in what areas. And then if those deals come across your way, whether it's from another wholesaler, someone at the event, you can bring it to them and you already got the deal done. So I don't teach people to, when they start, just pull a list and start calling. I think that's a waste of time. I think what you need to do is get tight with 10, 15 buyers, know what they need, then market to what they need. And you already have a buyer. So you're not messing around with the seller and thinking you can sell it.
Yeah, that's good. And that's honestly, that is a much more ethical wholesaling process.
So yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, and the contracts that fall out on a bad disposition process are pretty high, and that's
Oh
what
gosh.
gets a bad name.
Yes, yes. Very, 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 very high. Especially if you do nationwide, you're new and you're like, hey, let me just turn on Google pay-per-click all over the country and let's see what I can get. I did that. And we had to cancel like 50% of our contracts because you don't know the street, you don't know the area. I mean, there's a lot of problems with that model. And there's a lot of people that have crushed it and they know how to do it. I just think it's not something I'm interested in doing.
Yeah, that's interesting that you've done that, and I've known plenty of that have, and they've done well on that 50% model.
Mhm.
But they spin their wheels a lot, and yeah, interesting. So Nathan, I'd like to know, you say you've been in the game for 4 years, you've been in real
Mhm.
estate, you've been in sales before, but what's you can share some of one of your biggest lessons that you've learned in business or in your wholesaling business, or biggest lesson.
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing that I learned was changing my mentality from a scarcity mentality to an abundance mentality. I used to believe that, when I saw other wholesalers posting checks or um, you know, getting a deal, I'd get jealous or frustrated because I'd be like, hey, I'm grinding so hard. How are they successful? And then since I switched my mentality, shout out to like Brandon Simmons and a lot of my mentors that have helped me with this.
Mhm.
I do way more deals because I'm willing to, like you said, I got 10 minutes for anybody. If even if we don't do a deal together, maybe it'll come back around. And if it doesn't, then, hopefully you're in a better spot after we chatted. So that mentality shift has helped me to be way more successful.
Yeah, it's the adult version of, I'm going to take my toys out of the sandbox and go, and I'm not going to play. So
Yeah,
that scarcity mindset, we see it in children, and we kind of laugh at it, but then we emulate that as adults and in our
for
business.
sure. Yeah.
It does a disservice to our business and to those around us. I love Tom. So for those who may not know, Tom Kroll is a mentor of both of ours, and that's how I met Nathan. Tom teaches the generous expert model. I mean, he pounds that like religiously, which is amazing. To be a generous expert, to be giving of your time, to don't hold anything back, which is
Right.
counterintuitive. I mean, most of us will think in our business. I know I did early on as well. It's counterintuitive for me to share. I thought, this is my business. These are my secrets. This is my best list. This is whatever. The truth is, it early on that was the mentality, but those weren't
Same
the.
here, man. I was right there with you.
But yeah, that generous expert model is killing it. I mean, honestly, we can all be go givers in life and in our business. The people around us are going to benefit from that greatly, and not be and in return, our businesses, our lives will flourish because of it. Not as a prerequisite, but anyway, there's my rant.
No, I agree. That's exactly how it was, and that's the biggest life, I guess, lesson change, or I guess lesson I've learned. So
Perfect. So I always like to hear, I'm a house flipper
Mhm.
at heart. I mean, this last year we did a lot more house flipping than we did wholesaling. We're pivoting a little bit now. Market's cooling a little bit. We're doing a lot more
Right.
contract for deed. We're rehabbing, but not selling to end
Hmm.
buyers. We're doing more contract for deeds. But
That's
anyways,
awesome.
at heart, I'm a house flipper. It sounds like you've done a fair amount of that. I always love hearing about, like, what was the toughest deal that you've done? What was the, or the nastiest, stinkiest house? I mean, the most troubled seller. I mean, what was that one deal that you can remember that, like, you're scratching your head, like, I'm either giving up or I'm gonna kill it. This is gonna be the best deal ever.
Man, there's too many, right? You know how it is. It's just they're all over the place. I mean, there's sellers that will tell you they'll move out, and you give them, you let them do a post possession, you hold money back, and they want to end up like killing you, or saying give me my money. I mean, there's so many. I'll just think of one. There's one just comes to my head. We were dealing with this guy that we knew he was on meth, right? But he had to sell. An attorney reached out to us that we had networked with and said, "Hey, look, this guy needs to sell his house or he's going to lose it." Or like I think something was going to happen where if he didn't sell it, his sister, because he inherited the home, they had inherited the home. If he didn't sell it, the sister was going to take ownership because he was on drugs or something like that. So he had to sell it. So we bought it. The guy was like, "I need time to move out," and so we bought it. We held back 10K, and he did not move out in time. I don't know why I guess we let him stay just because that we wanted the deal, right? We were young and we are just like, let's just do it. We were like maybe a year into this, and the guy was nuts. The guy was crazy. Like, he was like threatening to take us out because we didn't give him his money, and we were like, hey man, the money's at escrow. As soon as you vacate, it's at the title company. Like, as soon as you vacate, you can give you the money. And he just like wouldn't leave, but he was like threatening us because he wanted his money. And he was like calling the title company, threatening the title lady. And she's like, don't you ever call here again. And she was able to, she didn't take his crap. So he was able to calm down. We gave him, I think we gave him like half, and he was like so mad about it because it was like, dude, we agreed and you left the house trash. So that was kind of not a scary situation. Well, you kind of scary because you have no idea what he's gonna do. The dude ended up moving into his mobile home and had that thing parked outside of the house that we ended up buying for a while. And we had to call the cops and be like, "Hey, get this guy out of here." Um, is
Yeah.
in the neighborhood itself was like everyone threw a party when we bought the house and he moved out because the whole neighborhood was so glad to get him out. Like I think he had like the cops had showed up to the house multiple times, had to bust down the door. Like, there was crazy stuff happening.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was one that we're glad that's over.
That's that's interesting that they threw a part. So the neighborhood throws a party for the investors that
Yeah.
basically reclaiming the neighborhood for them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
making it safe for them. And they were like, "You want to come to the party?" Like invited us. For some reason I didn't make it, but they were just so excited because this guy, it was weird. He had like his house was covered in searchlights, like big these bright lights that would like cover every part of his property because he was paranoid that people were going to come in. So, people were like, "Dude, I can't even go to sleep with my window even cracked because there's a light blasting in my window." So there, yeah, guy was wild.
That's interesting story. And yeah, I'm sure you've got a dozen more just like that. And same here. We're a hero for rehabbing the house that's been vacant for 10 years, and squatters are living there, and there's gang activity and stuff like that. Uh,
Right.
that's interesting. This is something that maybe I think it's a pet peeve of mine. Situations like that, sometimes investors get knocked or wholesalers get knocked. And I don't know if you've got any experience with
Oh
your
yeah.
real estate commission, but I have experience with my real estate commission. And investors will go in head first in a situation like that, and the real estate agent will not. I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
you get judged all the time by real estate agents saying, "Oh, how do you sleep at night?" I'm like, I have no problem sleeping at night.
because we do stuff like that,
Yeah.
and anyway, I'll get off the high horse, but that's happened to me recently in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know. I enjoy helping people. We do
Exactly.
situations
Yeah.
like that all the time. We'll do carrybacks. I mean, we're helping people move. I've rented storage units and dumpsters for people. I've hired people to go help them move. I mean, we've hired people to take stuff to the Goodwill. I did this one time. We rented a storage locker for a lady
Hmm.
to put her valuables in. I would not advise doing that, because if it goes in your name, you can't
Yeah.
transfer it over. I learned that. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, just going above and beyond
Yeah,
any.
I think it's amazing. And we really do help. Because when my sales process, I'm sure yours is the same, is you can't convince anyone to take a low offer like you or whatever offer we're offering. You can't convince them. You got to basically present their options and then they make the decision with information they have. So I never feel like I've taken advantage of anyone because you can't just take someone's house. They got to sign all the paperwork.
Yeah, yeah, we're
So,
presenting offers that first of all make sense to us, and then that encompass the cost, or the time associated with getting a particular deal done. And sometimes they're just sticky. So anyway, all right, well, I
for
won't bag
sure.
real estate agents anymore. If you ever got hit by the Kansas or the any real estate commission with your state, you'll feel that.
Yeah, it was really interesting. The first time, my first wholesale deal, like 2 months in, we sent out an email blast on a deal that we had, and the board of realtors invited us in, and we're like, "Hey, you can't market this deal," and that was our first experience, and we were like so new. We're like, "I don't even know what is going on. What are you guys even talking about?" So they hit us my first deal. But yeah, I mean they just want their hands and everything. I mean they just want to make money. I get it.
Yeah, no, it is. Uh, yeah, very cool. Well, yeah, Nathan, tell me, we're turning the corner here, and again, I really appreciate you being on our show and
Yeah, appreciate it.
part of our inaugural 10 episode launch. So, um, yeah, anything that you would be telling a new investor? I mean, the market's shifting. We're in Wichita, Kansas, so I like to think we're a little more insulated. We don't have the crazy appreciation and the swings. Our median home value is much lower in the Midwest. But
Yeah, you're probably not going to see it like California and Utah and like all the Western states that freaking went up like this. And now they're getting crushed.
yeah, so yeah, in my market, we're a little more insulated, but it's coming for everybody. Rates are up. Inventory is still down in our area, days on market. But I mean, what would you say to somebody just jumping into the game, that's looking, whatever, house flipping, wholesaling, wanting to get into, looking to buy their first 3 rentals this year. I mean, what's the state of the market, and what's your assessment and recommendation?
Well, it really depends on what their strategy is, right? If they want to buy for themselves, then, I would recommend start looking, right? But if you're going to wholesale, then get around the people who are buying so you know what they want, whether that's going to meetups, getting in a mentorship. So that's my two advices, like the two things I would suggest for someone that's coming in new. Determine what your strategy is, what you're trying to do, and then, target what you want to buy or target what other people want to buy.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. And honestly, educating yourself in the market right now, the market's changing, whatever, city, that you're in or market that you're in, it's shifting. I mean, it's changing. So educating yourself on, what the media home prices are, the days on market. I mean, what's appreciate or what's holding, what's stabilizing, what's rapidly depreciating. That is I always teach that's the first thing you need to do is just become aware of housing inventory prices.
100%. Yeah.
Um,
You got to be an expert, right? And if you're new, try to become one. Like start becoming one, because that's what people pay for. Is they want someone that's like, that's why the coaching exists, is because, I paid for coaching all the time. Like I paid for over $100,000 in coaching, and will continue, because you get around people that can give you that shortcut.
yeah,
So
100%. And I'm a huge proponent of that. And let's talk about that for a second. So a lot of times people, they'll throw shade on anybody that would want to charge anything. They'll throw shade on a program or a mentor program or a coaching or this, that, or the other. Like
mhm.
the conventional wisdom, I don't know if it's conventional, the popular opinion would say, well, it's all free. Everything you can, everything's free, which I can't argue with that. I mean, I will tell
Yeah,
people all day long.
information free,
Yeah.
all the time. I'll do that. But your time, my time is not free.
Yes. And so, as coaches and mentors, we eliminate the learning curve. Uh,
Right.
we shorten the learning curve. I mean, everybody's going to have their bumps along the way, but that's just, I heard it said, there's not bumps in the road, it's just the road. We
Yeah.
think, oh, I hit some bumps in the road. No, you're just on a road. So, but as coaching and mentors, we can help smooth that road out. And the shortcut, something that would take for me, and for instance, it took me a while before I joined any coaching, and my learning curve was, I mean, it was pretty stagnant. I mean, I was
Right.
eating the podcast, bigger pockets, everything everybody told you to do, consuming content as much as I could, but not until I joined a coaching program did I actually accelerate that.
Right.
So yeah, that's something, and quite honestly, uh, my coaching, I was actually born out of almost really out of necessity. I was having so many coffees. I mean, I still, I mean, it happens to this day, but now I know how to handle it. I was having so many people a year and a half, 2 years ago. Can I go pick your brain? Let's have a coffee. I'd love to, have a chat. When can we visit? Let me take you to lunch. Blah, 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 blah. All that it can be exhausting, and I really enjoyed it. Um,
Yeah. So
but it
let's
can be very,
centralize it, right? Let's
yeah,
get it in one place.
that's exactly what I did. I was like, all right, I'm going to formalize this. If you want a seat at the table, let's go. And I knew the value of that. I mean, I knew the value of, connecting with guys like Don Costa and eliminate, eliminating the learning curve and learning from guys like him that have gone ahead, are able to teach and help me eliminate so many of the pitfalls that every investor has to navigate.
Right.
But it was hard for me to, first of all, take that leap, and then second of all, like, to understand, hey, I need to let people know, like, this is for real. If you want to take a commitment into your investing career, you need to invest in coaching. You need to invest in mentoring, and
Agreed.
yeah. Well, hey, we're turning the corner. Like I said, any last couple questions? Any favorite software, books, podcasts? I mean, stuff that either has helped you grown personally, things that you're so reliant in your business. Anything specifically that you could recommend to somebody that's maybe wanting to be where you are.
Yeah, I would say the way I run my business, you don't really need too many softwares. I mean, obviously you need a CRM. I use HubSpot. You can use a free version. I use a paid version, right? But HubSpot's good. Or any CRM. I use Batch Leads for pulling lists, data, driving for dollars. Batch Leads is good. And that's pretty much what I've narrowed my business down. I used to have so many softwares back in the day, but now it's pretty much that. And, I would just say, take action, right? Like, even if you don't know what to do, like I'm doing a deal with someone that's in Columbia, South Carolina, like I said, that I'm JVing, and he's asked me some of the most basic questions I've ever heard. Like it's like very like, wow, this is very beginner, but he's done 3 deals and this is his 4th, right? Once we finish it, cross your fingers, everything goes well. But yeah, so it's like, hey, he's taking action. Props to him. He's doing it. And he has questions like, what do I put on this agreement, or like what's an assignment, right? Or what just basic stuff. So you don't have to be like super skilled or knowledgeable at the moment to get it done. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, fail forward, imperfect action, progress,
Exactly.
perfection. I mean, all of that. Yeah, it's so key. I think that's what keeps a lot of people on the sidelines. And I've talked to people that analyze and read for a year or 2 years, and I'm just waiting for the right time. I don't feel equipped. The truth is, you're never going to be equipped, and
Never, bro.
you just gotta jump in.
Yeah,
All right, man.
exactly.
Dude, I'm so thankful you took the time to visit with us. How can people get a hold of you? What anything you've got upcoming you want to plug or promote or anything?
If you go to my YouTube channel, Nathan Payne, just type in Nathan Payne, I'll be on there. And then investorthrive.com is my website. You can check out, I have a club. I have a low ticket like item for like really cheap coaching. It's $297 a month. And I give people a free call. I give them leads. I give them a private community. And, that's a lot of people. If they JV with me, I give them 60% instead of a 50-50 if they're not in the club. So I kind of like to start people there if they're newer. And then if they want more one-on-one, they can jump up to the higher. But that's kind of like what I'm providing is like a low entry, just so people can, because I want to build an awesome community, like where people can come in, network, kind of like other masterminds that cost, like I'm in a mastermind costs $15,000 a year.
Yep.
That is one of the most valuable things I'm a part of. But these people don't have the money for that or want to invest in themselves. So I'm trying to create that in like a very, very low ticket product.
Nice. Yeah. All right. We'll drop that in the show notes. Nathan, I really appreciate you taking the time again. Thanks so much. And best of luck to you this upcoming year. I hope you crush your goals, and
appreciate it. Thank you.
It'd be interesting to take this journey with you and Tom's group as well. So
let's do it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yep.